So Olwen Morgan hasn't seen it. Morgan, your assignment out of here, your own work, not homework, I learned that from Colin Sprake last week, is to go and watch Groundhog Day. It's actually on Stars right now. And so you can see it because it's out there, and you can watch it for free if you have Stars. So I encourage you to watch it. I'm actually going to start off. The thing is, if you've seen the movie, you know it's actually a very powerful movie. There's a lot to learn from that, and I decided that since it was Groundhog Day, and I had just spent 3 days, and actually a couple of us had spent 3 days last week in a business mastery workshop, and I've learned some things there. I mean, obviously, if you're here because hopefully not only are you here to network, but you're here to learn. And what is the best investment you can make in learning and breaking out of your Groundhog Day? Anybody want to share? What's the best investment you can make in yourself? In yourself. It's the space, the real estate between these two points that's really going to determine ultimately whether you succeed or fail, or whether you're trapped. And it's part of what I'm going to talk about today. Is I'm going to give you 10 things to do. Now, 10 seems like a lot. I'm going to give you 10 things that you can do or need to focus on to break out of your Groundhog Day. So, but I want to start off. This is going to be kind of fun. So, if you don't know the story of Groundhog Day, Phil Connors is a weatherman, played by Bill Murray, and he comes in and he hates going to Puxatawney, Pennsylvania to do Groundhog Day. Interestingly enough, what's the groundhog's name? Phil. Phil Connors is also his name. And he goes to Pennsylvania, and it's wintertime. Whereas here in Dallas, we don't necessarily have the same feelings. I lived in Michigan for 18 years, and so I know how much you're looking forward to some good news as to when this winter is going to end. And so weathermen can be heroes or goats depending upon what they are, and people can love or hate Puxatawney Phil, the groundhog, depending on what they said. Now, he did, this is a spoiler, guys, he did see his shadow today. Yeah. So there's 6 more weeks of winter, depending on how wherever you're at, whatever that means to the area that you're in. So I want to start, and right now I'll tell you this QR code here is because the program I used to take this off of YouTube, I didn't want to buy the little add-on package, so they stuck that QR code there. So, but I'm going to play this. Oh.
Groundhog time. 1,000 people freezing their butts off, waiting to worship a rat.
Weatherman Phil Connors is spending the day in Puxatawney, Pennsylvania.
Phil? Ned Ryerson. I did the whistling belly button trick at the high school talent show.
Bing!
Bang!
But Phil's about to find out he's not just stuck in Puxatawney.
Will you be checking out today, Mr. Connors?
Chance of departure today, 100%.
He's stuck
Groundhog Day!
in Groundhog Day.
I'm reliving the same day over and over.
Phil?
Ned Ryerson?
Bang!
Do you ever have deja vu, Mrs. Lancaster?
I don't think so, but I could check with the kitchen.
Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
At first, he was a little anxious.
Phil?
What? Will you be checking out today, Mr. Connors?
I'd say the chance of departure is 80%.
But now, we could do whatever we want. He's discovering the possibilities.
Don't you worry about cholesterol?
Why?
And living life like there's no tomorrow.
Phil Connors!
Ned!
Because there isn't.
I am an immortal. I have been stabbed, shot, burned, frozen, electrocuted. I'm a god.
You're God.
I'm a god. I'm not the god.
He's out of his gourd.
But to get what his heart wants most,
What are you looking for, Phil? A date for the weekend?
he's living this day over again till he gets it right.
Believe it or not, I studied 19th century French poetry.
What a waste of time.
I studied 19th century French poetry.
La fille qui j'aimerais.
You speak French.
Oui.
Bill Murray, Andy McDowell.
To the Groundhog.
I always drink to world peace. What should we drink to?
I like to say a prayer and drink to world peace. Don't drive angry. Don't drive angry. He might be okay.
Life has a funny way of repeating itself.
What did you do today?
Oh, same old, same old.
All right, so I won't go through the whole movie, but I do want you to kind of, I really do, even if you've watched it before, I would really encourage you to go back and watch it in the context of your business and of your life after we get through this. Now I'm going to talk to you about a few things, learnings that I've had from Eckhart Tolle, Colin Sprague last week. I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek and other folks. And there's a few things and themes that actually are prevalent if you really go back and look at them, learnings even in this movie, The Groundhog Day. But one of the first things is that action is the bridge from knowledge to profit, or knowledge to success, or knowledge to whatever your thing. So what I'm going to tell you today, when we go through these 10 things, I loved what Colin said last week when he said it's not shelf help, it's self-help. And the thing is, what I find, even with people, I'm very impressed with people that come to the Friday. I will tell you, if you want to impress me, if you come to the Friday Richardson Plano Networkers with the intent of learning and investing in your business, to me that tells me that you're really serious about your business and you're taking action. But also, I've also known people that go perpetually to conferences and they go into education and they do things and they never actually apply it. So I'm going to challenge you today, if there's one thing, not 10 things, but if there's one thing that you pick up today, pick up one thing and say, when I leave today, I'm going to take action on that. And I can guarantee you, there's some gray hairs in the room, just like me, or I'm not a gray hair, I'm a no hair. My hair doesn't, turn gray, it turns loose. So that's kind of the way I am, right, Don? Yeah, we know what that's like. So my point is that I really, the first thing to say is, now that you've made the investment to either join us on Facebook, watch this video after we're live, or be here in the room, find something every day to take action. And I would say in your business and in your life, take action every day. One of the interesting things that Bill Murray went through, if you watch the movie and look every day, every time, he was first motivated by his negativity, right? He was trapped in his license to operate, his job, his day-to-day, his doing something. He wasn't excited about it. He was negative about it. And if you watch the first day that he's in the movie, what happens? He steps in a puddle. He meets an insurance salesman he doesn't like. He's just negative. Is he attractive at all? Absolutely not. Nobody is interested in hanging out with Phil Connors. The thing is, you guys, I don't believe that's anybody here in this room. But you see people every day that think that they have chosen to identify with their reactive self. They've chosen to keep going through the motions, keep being on autopilot. Anybody ever go and then leave your house and turn the exact wrong direction? Maybe you didn't have your GPS going, you turn the wrong direction because that's generally where you go every day. That's the thing that generally motivates or animates everybody on a daily basis. I call it the zombie factor, if you understand my book that I'm working. But it is what we are motivated. We're not motivated by intentional action to improve things. Now, when in the movie Groundhog Day, when Phil started, he was negative, and what was his main objective? Somebody who knows, who saw the movie, what was his primary objective when he started? Get out of Puxatawny. Get in there, get out, don't want to be there. And what happened? He got trapped. Circumstances, the snow came, couldn't get out, had to go back, and he stuck there for another night. Now what he didn't know was he was going to be stuck there until he got it right. The thing is, in our business and in our lives, we are in our own version of Groundhog Day, because if we don't make a choice in the moment to take action and do it, whatever it is, we are not going to transcend or progress to the point where we can escape our own Groundhog Day. So the most important thing, and these are all important, but the most important thing I can tell you today is whatever you take out of here, whatever you do in your life, whether it's out of here or when you leave here and run into somebody, is find things that will move you down your intended path towards your unique vision for your unique reason, providing your unique value. I just gave you a summary of the vision challenge. But the point is, that is the thing. Take an action. I get people going through the vision challenge. They go through the 5 days, right, Jenna? They get the 5 days of emails. They go through the stuff. They try and do, and they get about halfway through, and they start saying, okay, I've got enough. They don't execute. They don't take it to the next step. They don't say, okay, now that I know this, or at least have a sense of this, how can I improve it? When you watch the movie Groundhog Day, you will find a lot of days. I'm going to share with you how many days there could be in Groundhog Day. But you find Phil on a journey. And the first leg of his journey was get out of Puxatawny. Then when that couldn't get out, then he first became very negative and angry, right? Some people stop there, believe it or not. They stop with, I don't like this life sucks, this isn't my business, and they do whatever they can to hope the universe says, if I'm angry enough at where I'm at, that it'll change. And guess what happens? It doesn't change, and you just attract more of what you hate. So part of this is that you have to take positive action in the right direction. The next one that kind of goes with that is your focus, what you focus on, what your mind believes and focuses on is what you will get. So if you're constantly focused on where you're at, guess what? Where are you going to stay? Groundhog Day. You're going to stay in Puxatawny. You're going to stay here every day because you're just focused on that, and you aren't focused intentionally on a vision or a journey that you want to be on. You know, if you've arrived, if you're where you want to be, great. Has anybody here arrived and exactly where they want to be? Nobody? Good. Because frankly, if you've arrived and you're exactly where you want to be, then what's your purpose to be here? You could be like Phil. Phil got to the point where he couldn't get out. He couldn't figure out how to do anything. He went through, have fun. I'll show you, no rules, no consequences. There's no tomorrow, right? Anybody know anybody that lives like that? No tomorrow, no consequences, just do it. Anybody ever gone through that? I'm raising my hand. I've been in that, where I don't know the point. I think I'm immortal because I'm young, and I just do whatever I want because I don't think there are consequences. And I know people, people like that. But the point is what you focus on. If you're focusing on, at one point in the movie, he was focused on getting out, and he was focused on that, and and how negative it was and how bad, and it kept getting worse. He was present and focused on everything he didn't want. Then he decided, hey, this is pretty cool. I can learn stuff about you and you and you and you, and guess what I want to focus on? I can manipulate. I can get what I want. I can focus on me out of this by being able to know what Lloyd's going to do tomorrow, and I can ask him today, and then tomorrow I can already know it, and so I can get, or I can, like he romanced a woman in the restaurant and did things, but still no intention, no vision of where he was going other than I can live in the moment for my own pleasure and get what I want out of it. So that's what he was focused on, and that's what he got. Later on, he got a bigger picture, and we'll talk about that in a second. Breakout secret number 3, and this is what I say is believing is seeing. A lot of people say, well, I'll believe it when I see it, right? But my focus is if you have thoughts, if you're looking at what you're doing in your own mind, those thoughts lead to feelings. You've got to really feel things. If you don't feel your business right now, if you are not passionate, I know Susan, you're passionate about getting a message out and small businesses. I'm passionate about changing the world one dream at a time. I want everybody in this room and everybody I come in contact with not to be animated by a virus, by somebody's marketing pitch or politics or religion, anything that's not of themselves. I want them to be animated by their own intention. That's what I'm passionate about. That's what I'm doing, whether I get paid for it or not. Okay? If you are passionate and you have feelings, when you talk to somebody, a potential client, a potential partner, a potential anybody that can help you achieve or move forward or you can benefit, and you're excited about that, you're energized by that, then you've moved from having a thought. First got to get the thoughts right, because what happens? The thoughts feed feelings. The feelings feed actions. If you're going to go back to number 1 and take action, then you've got to be emotional about it. Jenna will tell you people don't buy on logic, they buy on emotion. So part of why you do marketing is because you want people to be emotional at the time they're making a decision to engage you or not, right? What more do you need to understand than to know that you have to be emotional about what you're doing in order to break out of your own Groundhog Day? You've got to do it. Now, your emotion may go like Bill Murray or Phil Connor in the character, in that he finally got to the point where his emotion was hopelessness. Anybody ever go there? Yes, we've all been hopeless. If you haven't, we need to have a one-on-one so you can explain to me how you managed to avoid getting to a point in your life where you felt like things were hopeless. And it got so hopeless that the only answer was suicide. And he tried it multiple times, but it didn't get him out. So he kept coming back. And he finally transcended or moved through that emotion, that feeling. He took the wrong actions, but he was taking, but those feelings led to actions, and then those actions create results. And hopefully those results reinforce your thoughts, make those stronger. It's a cycle. Do you understand? And so a breakout secret number 3, and again, in Groundhog Day, because I'm using that as the metaphor as well as a teaching tool here, and I strongly encourage you to go watch it. I watched it twice today because I recorded it and I turned it on when I got up this morning and watched it, and I picked up things in it that I won't be able to explain to you today, and that I've never seen before, and I've probably seen it 10 times at least. One of my favorite movies. Okay, because of the lessons it teaches and because of the coolness of thing. And Bill Murray does a great job, and Andy McDowell does a great job, and it's just really, really a good movie. So anyway, so that's the whole thing. So believing is seeing, and getting passionate about what you believe is the key. That fuels everything. So again, one of the things is we talked about in the conference that I was at, the Business Mastery Conference, is self-awareness, self-observation awareness. Listen to what you say. I have to work on this myself. I'm in the process of improving. if you're saying things like, I don't like to network, I never do this, I never get any business, I have, if you're verbalizing and thinking and feeling, and that's part of your reactive self, then that's going to be part of your Groundhog Day going forward. You're going to continue to reinforce that. I don't have the right people. I don't have enough money. I don't have this. If that's what you're thinking, then that's leading to your feelings, which then leads to your actions or inaction, which is an action, by the way. Doing nothing is an action. I know I've done that in my time, sit on the couch and have a drink and just watch TV or whatever and not, we all make that decision as well. So take that action. The third secret is take out the head trash. Again, if you are self-aware and self-observant, take some time to just reflect. If it's an interaction, if it's how you handled yourself in this meeting, how you handled that meeting, how you dealt with your spouse or your kids or your business partner or a potential client. Reflect on that. Think about what you said. Think about what was going through your head when you were thinking, because I can tell you, I have it. I take out the trash all the time. We all have head trash, right? We all have things that we're telling ourselves. I'm not good enough. Guess where that stuff comes from? Or I am good. Could be either way, but there's, where does it come from? It comes from usually your life prior to you're 8 years old, believe it or not. So that's kind of, as a parent of 5 kids, that's pretty scary for me because they're already past 8 years old, and so whatever I did to them wrong, I already did it. Okay, but the point, you with me? So the head trash is something that we all have, and it's limiting us. One of the things that Colin, which I love, was who cares. We're always thinking about, I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm just self-aware here. I was looking at Susan, I'm thinking, what's Susan thinking about my presentation? I just did that. And I'm aware of it. You're looking at people, and if you say,
I think you're doing as great as Colin Sprague. That's what I think.
Well, great. And I loved what Colin did. But the one thing he said to me is, who cares? And ask yourself who cares. And then realize that whoever you put in that, and if whoever you're worried about, you can only be as happy as they allow you to be. You can only, if you are worried about other people, then you're not running your life. You're not motivated with your intention, whether it's a group of people, a political group, or a religious group, or a networking group, or your spouse or your family or anybody else that's going to influence you. If that's going to motivate, if that's going to animate your actions, then you only get to be as successful and happy as they will allow you to be. It's kind of scary when you think about it.
And they're very stingy.
And right, because guess what? This is the other thing, and I'm not bashing family or friends or anybody else, but generally speaking, your current, whoever you've surrounded yourself with right now, and they may be a good peer group. I would advocate that you surround yourself with people that are going to pull you up. But generally speaking, people don't want you to leave. So if you are on a journey that says, I haven't arrived, I'm not staying here, this isn't my ideal average day, and this isn't my destination, if anything were possible, I would be right here. People closest to you want to keep you with them because they love you. Dream thieves, but they could, and they don't intend to. Now, okay, that's the thing, is we don't intend to do that. I know I've done that to my own kids because I don't want them to get hurt. I don't want them to, but guess what? You're never growing with your, the thing is your failures. The next one is this, Velcro, the one that he talked about, Velcro or Teflon. What is it that comes in? This is your hard drive, right? This is your head. One of the things I'm reminded of in this business mastery. And guess what? There's nothing I heard here I hadn't heard before, but I'm putting into action and I'm teaching it today because I want to get it locked and loaded in my own brain. And the best way I can do that, the best way any of us can do things as far as learning, is to teach it to other people. And that's why large reason why I'm doing this today. I'm applying it to my own metaphors. I'm thinking about it. But when we hear something negative, if Morgan looked at me today like this, guess what? My normal human tendency is to laud that with Velcro. Morgan thinks I suck. Or Morgan thinks you do that, right? Don't nod your head yes. No, I'm teasing. So my point is, right, we need the negative stuff that is we're constantly bombarded. I don't care whether it's the media, I don't care whether it's whatever, your well-meaning friends or your enemies. Whatever it is, it's coming in here. We need to be Velcro. We need to let that just fall off of us. You need to make a point to just say, and I know it's easy to say and hard to do, but you need to kind of get to the point where the things that are coming in that I don't want, I'm going to treat like I am Teflon, and it's just going to go, and I'm not going to hang on to it. And hang on to the things when Susan said, you're as good as Colin Sprake, which I feel is flattery after spending 3 days with him and just getting to know him. But I will tell you that I'm going to hang on to that one. I'm going to treat that one like Velcro. I'm going to snag that one. Morgan's, bad body language or whatever, I'm going to let that go off Teflon. And I'm picking on Morgan. So if you're on the screen, Morgan's not doing anything wrong. She's just in my line of sight here. So anyway, so again, decide that you're going to treat any inputs coming into your hard drive that aren't serving your intention as Teflon. And when you get positive reinforcement, when you get that good client interaction, when you have that good experience, when somebody gives you an encouraging word, hang on to that like Velcro. Don't let that go. Make that hard to get out of your head. This is one that I think is totally and completely important. It's actually, he talks about it in the Success Recipe book that I got at the conference, but if you count your money, you will have dollars to count. If you focus on money, you will have dollars to count. If you focus on people, you will have countless dollars. Does that make sense? That to me is, if you're doing what you're doing, so if you focus on money, and I'm not saying that money's not important, because money is a tool, if used properly, can accomplish a lot of things. But it's just a tool. And if you focus on money, whether a consultant or anybody else, they can teach you how to have more money to count. But if you focus on people and the value you provide and the unique mission that you're on, the reason why and all these things, your dollars will be countless. You'll have more than you can count. So my point there is breaking out, and it's totally illustrated. If you don't believe me, go watch Groundhog Day and watch how he escaped his own Groundhog Day. The last day of the Groundhog Day. And I'm not going to be a spoiler, but I guess I did because I said he escaped. But my point is, go and watch the movie and figure out that he was actually using this principle and didn't necessarily articulate, because that's a good movie, right? You figure it out yourself. But he was focused that last day on other people. And guess what he got? He gets what he wants. I mean, again, if you don't get outside yourself and you break out and you shift your focus to impacting the world around you and the people and what value you're providing. See, people are going to line up for themselves, not for you, right? They're lining up because your core, your why, your value serves them, not you, okay? You may be able to manipulate like Phil Connors did in the middle part of the movie, where he used tricks and he almost got, what he wanted, because he had all kinds of marketing tricks that he used all the way through the thing. But the problem is, he fell short because he was focused on the thing that was going to serve him. In this case, we're talking money, and not on the value that he was providing and what he could do to contribute with the time he had, which was the same day going over and over and over again. Okay? Breakout secret number 7. Eliminate your addictions. You're addicted to something. Everybody's addicted. We're addicted to our smartphones right now. And not because I know Don, you're taking notes, right? You're not texting your girlfriend or anything, right? Okay. So I mean, we use our smartphones, but that's a positive use, but it's an addictive tool. You know that, right? It's like alcohol, drugs, sex, gambling, cell phones, smartphones actually. Facebook. They are addictions. And so we want outcomes. I've worked with people on their vision, and they have some pretty exciting, and that's why I call myself the vision warrior, because once you are clear on your vision, and that vision excites me, which probably has to excite you first, but if it excites me, then I want to be a champion and a warrior. Guess one of the first things I have to do is help you eliminate your addictions. Get you realizing that, okay, there's the future, there's where you're going, here's the bridge back to today, and that's a process. That's a process of alignment. Get back to today, and here's the things that you're doing that don't serve you. They're not on the bridge, but you're doing them. You're spending time. That's the hardest thing. Those addictions, those things that I have on my calendar that I do every day, right? That I do because I've always done those, because that's what I thought was important back then and never served me. And now I know that this is where I'm going, and somebody shares, and I realize I'm spending my time doing this, and I shouldn't even be doing it at all. That's a hard one to get rid of. That's an addiction. Number 2 is I'm doing this and I'm not doing it very well, but I'm going to keep working at it because it's not my strength. Instead of hiring a marketing person, I'm going to keep learning how to do social media. Crazy addiction, because you're addicted to your own ego. You're addicted to the fact that I can do this. I can figure this out. I suck at I'm not a handy guy. My dad was a handy guy. I tried for a long time to be a handy guy. I'm not a handy guy. I spent a whole weekend, got sick, painted 3 rooms, and my wife came in and said, and I had to pay somebody to redo it. And that was the last time I said, okay, I'm not doing these projects. Now, some of you guys are going, okay, you macho guys that can do anything, are saying this guy's a wimp. But I got to pay somebody to do things. And the thing is, in your business, in your own Groundhog Day, you got to realize you can't be like Phil. Of course, he was living the same day over and over and over again, so he learned French, he learned, French poetry, he learned how to play the piano, he learned how to ice sculpt, he learned all these things with his goal in mind, and you can do those things too, but the point is, if you can do it better, great. You might need to get some help. The last thing is, are you focused on the things that are on the bridge? And if there are things on the bridge, either you've got to get somebody to do it for you, or you've got to figure out how to do those things. That makes sense? So, are you an entrepreneur or a wantrepreneur? Okay. A lot of people that I run across are wantrepreneurs. They want something, but they have an idea. Like this chart says, an idea today, 1 month ago, you still have the idea. An entrepreneur says, I have an idea, 1 month, I'm in business. Now, 2 months, you might be out of business if you're not doing it right. But the point is, because 96% of the businesses fail in the first 2 years, which is part of why we started Business Growth Network, and part of my passion is I want that to be the other way around. And I know Colin Sprake does too, and the same, people, Simon Sinek, other people that my core is aligned with, my personal mission in life is aligned with, are people that have the same dream. That when you're in this networking group, when you're watching this video, when you're in this training or somebody else that I bring into the room, that you are not going to be one of the 96% that fail in 2 years. And if you've made it past 2 years, good for you. Are you getting the countless dollars and success that you have, or is it lacking? Have you just survived because out of brute force? So the point is, don't be a wantrepreneur only, be an entrepreneur. And you can have desires and whatever, but actually that goes back to number 1. once you have a good idea, what do you need to do? Act. You need to do something. Okay, number 8. And here's one that drives me nuts. With my kids, with people I talk to. I'll tell you what, I've talked to some really successful, back when I was doing the Roberts High Performance things, the Vision Warrior thing, and I was working with I've talked to CEOs that have this problem. They say, I want to go here, this is where I want to go, but not enough time on my calendar. My marriage is screwed up. My finance, I don't have, whatever it happens to be. You own all of those. It's not the political environment. It's not the financial environment. You can affect those. If they are getting in your way, they shouldn't be hurdles. They should be things that you actually say, I'm gonna plow through. I'm gonna figure out how to get through there. An entrepreneur basically starts on a path and knows at the top of the mountain and knows they have to climb a mountain, which means there's a hell of a lot of work, right? But when something gets in their way, they either figure out a good path around it, or they figure out a way through it, or how to blow it out of the way. That's an entrepreneur. Okay, that's somebody who really, they're not making excuses. They take full ownership. If you sit here today and say, I would be more successful, but if it weren't for X, you've just given up part of your control. If only. I would be here if only this weren't in my way. You know what? Who cares? They're limiting your ability, or that is limiting your ability to be as successful and happy as you need to be. So if you're going to break out of your Groundhog Day, nothing can become an immovable object. You have to figure out a vision. Phil's vision in Groundhog Day became his overwhelming desire and passion and vision of, if anything were possible, my future would be with Rita. She's his producer in the weather program, from the new producer from the channel. So he didn't, when he got to a point where you could see this is gonna work, towards the end, or whatever, things were gonna happen differently. He was clearly not gonna let anything stop him. And he was also going to make sure he was connected with a very unique and passionate, heartfelt reason why he was doing it. It wasn't some manipulative, do what I can do to get away with it kind of thing. Make as much money as I can and run. I mean, how many have run into those kind of business owners and people in your lives? Absolutely. The hit and runs, the drive-bys, the guys that come in and if they make a sale, they go celebrate, and then you never see them again. It happens. Those people aren't, again, I believe that in playing an infinite game in my life, in my business, Simon Sinek says everybody in business plays one of 2 games. And it's usually reflected in their marketing and how they communicate their why. His philosophy is start with the why. And don't answer your phone. No. But his thing is, because people, they're either playing to beat the competition. Okay, in other words, I'm playing a finite game. I'm playing a game to win this sale, beat my competition. I'm always comparing myself to another business owner. I'm here in real estate, and this real estate agent is more successful. I'm going to beat them. I'm going to get them. This marketing person is more successful than that marketing person. Okay, that's my competition. No. Your competition in this, you have no excuses. Your competition is you. You are always on a journey, and if you're playing an infinite game, in other words, you're always playing to get better. Apple plays, as Simon Sinek says, Apple plays an infinite game. Dell plays a finite game, or Microsoft plays a finite game. They actually play to beat the other person, and that's why people aren't inspired. If you're playing an infinite game, if I'm playing to change the world one dream at a time, and you're going to want to maybe be inspired, maybe to help go with me, or be identified with that. If I'm just playing to get the next deal or get some of your time and get you to pay me, then it's going to be different. Okay, so Last one is, our next to last one is own your vision. If you don't know what your vision is, then I can help you figure that out. But own your dream, own your vision. We did an exercise with the arrow thing. I won't share with the group, but it was one of actually stepping into your vision, your dream, not letting anything get in the way, but own it. Know what it is first, and then own it, because you have it. Nobody else has your vision, your dream, whatever. It's you. And the last one is be true to your core. As I said, Simon Sinek says, focus on the why. People are very easy. When you give your 30 seconds, I can tell you what I do. I can tell you how I do it maybe. But you very seldom hear anybody talk about why they do what they do. And the thing is, that's what distinguishes the real successful businesses that break out of their Groundhog Day every day, is by the why. So don't just do what everybody else does. I'm going to end with this video, which is kind of fun. I thought it would be fun. What if there were no tomorrow? This is, if I can get it to play here.
Let me ask you guys a question. Excuse me. What if there were no tomorrow?
No tomorrow. That would mean there would be no consequences. There would be no hangovers. We could do whatever we wanted.
That's true. We could do whatever we want.
Hey, Phil, if we wanted to hit mailboxes, we could let Ralph drive.
By the way, Phil had been drinking coffee. He wasn't drunk.
Hey, Phil. I didn't want you to stop.
Hang on. It's the same thing your whole life. Clean up your room, stand up straight, pick up your feet, take it like command. Be nice to your sister. Don't mix beer and wine, ever. Oh yeah. Don't drive on the railroad track.
Phil, that's one I happen to agree with.
No. Yeah. Sometimes I think you just have to take big chances.
I'm expecting these guys to swear first.
I'm expecting to swear first.
I'm not going to live by their rules anymore.
I noticed that.
You make choices and you live with them.
That was in the middle. That was the part where he was taking advantage. The reason why I wanted to share that is because if you want to take any action at all out of here, decide, who cares, I'm going to play by my rules, and I'm not playing by their rules anymore. There's plenty of people that are defining what is success for you, what is failure, what you should be doing, how you should be spending your time, and play by your rules. I'm not suggesting you go drive on railroad tracks or anything like that. But as you will see in the evolution of the movie, he actually becomes present with the external world and decides on a vision that's beyond himself. And that's what changes things. So the best next move is to sign up for the Vision Challenge. If you haven't signed up for the Vision, the only thing I'm going to give you, that's free. I'm not selling anything. It's free. And you can go in, and it's evergreen, right? So it basically, you sign up, you put your email in and your first name, and it's businessgrowthnetwork.org/VC. Sorry, the C is what this. So Vision Challenge. And it'll walk you through over 5 days getting connected with your unique reason, your unique vision, and your unique value. It'll start you on that journey. Okay? And so if you go through that, and you want to talk about it some more, then we'll set up a one-on-one and we'll talk about that. And there's also, we do a workshop to get you started if you're ready to get moving. My point is, don't play by their rules anymore. And if you don't know what your rules are, this is the place to start. Okay, now do you know what that means right there? Anybody got a guess? How many days did Phil live in this movie? 12,000. If he did all of the things that he did, the things that he learned, all the things, there's some analysis out there. You can find anything on the internet. There's some analysis that went through the whole logic, and I'm not going to go through that. 12,395 days to accomplish proficiency at everything he demonstrated during that movie and all that. Now, the minimum number of days, if you look superficially at the movie, is 33. That's the least you can come out of the day, 33 days. This, 12,395 days is 33 years, 350 days. So he, and then the producer of the film that was part of it said it's probably more like 11 years because he wasn't necessarily totally proficient in French and everything else. That was kind of his, so it's more like 11 years. But anyway, 33 years, so you need to get started. And the thing is, you don't have to learn how to speak French or do anything, but whatever your vision is, don't be forced into living this Groundhog Day for even 33 more days, to take some action right now. So I think I'm done, and everybody, thanks.
Anybody in the audience know what this is?
A computer.
It is a computer, correct. It is not a phone. People think this is a phone. The last cell phone that was really a phone was the old flip phones. And even those had a computer, but it was so limited that it really was